anytime, anywhere. For more information, connect with us via email at info@ita.gov.jm or on social media at Island Traffic Authority.
Yebs, why me I call you so much time and I nah get you? Sorry me lick you again yesterday. Yo, me know me mess up, but I can't wear them something there road and I expect me to react. I know I'm jealous and fool and easy to lose my temper, but call me back here. Still nah get tired. Hey, girl, think me have to call your phone? You know who you deal with? You think I want to lick me again next time? Eh?
It doesn't have to be this way. You can leave an abusive relationship. Just call 876-553-0372. We will help you.
Hey, just a reminder, your mental health is just as important as your physical health. If you're feeling overwhelmed, try talking to a trusted friend or family member. You don't have to go through it alone. Sometimes sharing your feelings can make a big difference. If you need more support, don't hesitate to reach out to the Health and Wellness Ministry's Suicide Prevention Helpline at 888 New Life. That's 888-639-5433. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. Your feelings matter, and there are people ready to listen. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.
I wonder who that somebody be. No, sir. Let me look for my glasses. Oh, that somebody look like right, sir.
It's Lottie, walk on.
Me glad for see you, right. Although things never go on for you, America, me glad say you there.
Yeah.
Lift your head high.
Yeah.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
And you can have a fresh start back home.
All right, Mr. D. Thanks, you hear?
Let's all work together for a fresh start back home.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister. Jamaica is changing right before our very eyes. Across the island, billions are being invested into our road networks, from farm and community roads to major roads and highways. Dozens of communities across the length and breadth of Jamaica are receiving access to reliable potable water for the very first time. And thousands of Jamaicans have become homeowners thanks to the historic shifts in policies of the National Housing Trust, making it easier for Jamaicans to receive funding. Not to mention the record number of houses being built. Never dreamed you would own a home? No matter your circumstance, home ownership is possible for you, thanks to the government's new social housing program specially designed to meet the needs of poor Jamaicans at no cost to them. We are building Jamaica.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Motorists, certificates of fitness are now digital. Here's how it works. First, make your payment at TAJ inline or online. Then, take your receipt along with your vehicle to an Island Traffic Authority service hub for physical inspection. A valid email address is required to receive your digital fitness. Once the inspection is complete, your certificate number will be sent directly to your email. To access your digital certificate, visit cgds.gov.jm/fitness, enter your certificate number and the chassis number, and view your certificate online. New validity periods are here. New vehicles, 5 years. Vehicles 10 years or less, 3 years. And those older than 10, 1 year. No more paper certificates, just secure digital access anytime, anywhere. For more information, connect with us via email at info@ita.gov.jm or on social media at Island Traffic Authority.
Most Jamaicans will tell you corruption in politics is deep-rooted, and I just saw it said, and nothing can do about that. But actually, there is, and another 152 countries are doing it. It's called asset declaration, and it works best where citizens themselves understand it and help to ensure the law is enforced. Corruption happens when public officials abuse their power to benefit themselves, family, or associates. Jamaica's Integrity Commission Act was designed to prevent corruption. And here are 5 things you should know. 1. Under this law, every year MPs and senators must report what they earn, own, and owe. And if they don't, they'll be sanctioned. 2. Their report must include the same kind of information for their wife or husband and children. 3. If they get a gift worth more than $100,000 from anyone who's not family, they must declare it. 4. A summary of the declarations of our Prime Minister and opposition leader must be published where the public can read it. 5. Parliamentarians can now be prosecuted by the Integrity Commission. They can be fined up to $2 million or serve up to 2 years in prison if they don't file their declaration or if they give false information, and $500,000 for not filing on time or ignoring requests for information. Unfortunately, our parliamentarians made changes that prevent the public from knowing when they've broken the law or when they're being investigated. We really need to change that. Visit jampja.org to find out more about the Act and to track if your MP is obeying this law. If they're not, JAMP's MP Tracker will help you write, tweet, or call your MP. Ask them, you submit your declaration yet? The Integrity Commission clear you? Let's help the Parliament stay honest. A message from the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, funded by the European Union and the Inter-American Development Bank in partnership with the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica.
Today, we can report 2 consecutive years of reduction in major crimes and murders, with a significant reduction of almost 20% in murders for 2024.
Between January 2022 and January 2025, we have reduced murders by 51%, and January 2025 had the lowest monthly murder count since September 2014.
Our efforts have also resulted in the reduction of active gangs by 50%. We continue to increase firearm seizures, and in more communities, we are experiencing less violence. We will realize our vision of Jamaica as the place of choice to live, work, do business, raise families, and retire in peace and prosperity.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Give yourself a fighting chance. Wear an approved helmet. A message from the Road Safety Unit in the Ministry of Transport and Mining.
Peace begins with us. Every act of kindness, every step towards understanding brings us closer to a brighter tomorrow. Let's choose unity, compassion, and hope. Together, we can build a future where peace reigns.
Brighter tomorrow starting today.
When the storm rages and the world feels shaken, remember our strength lies in unity. It's in coming together, sharing hope, and standing shoulder to shoulder that we find resilience. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement builds a brighter tomorrow. We are stronger as one. Our courage, compassion, and hope will light the way forward. Together we rise. Together we rebuild, because hope is never lost when we stand united, because we are stronger together.
Every year, the Jamaican Parliament approves billions of our taxes to be spent on goods and services provided by the private sector. Everything from pens to power plants, cleaning services to construction are obtained through a process called public procurement. But who funds this process? Citizens do. And we want our taxes to be spent wisely. When we talk about public procurement, there's a critical concept called value for money. We hear it in the parliament all the time, but what does it really mean? Some think value for money means choosing the cheapest option, but it's more than that. For example, a community needs a new bridge, and the government receives bids from 3 companies. Company A offers to build it for $10 million in 18 months with a 50-year lifespan. Company B wants $12 million to finish in 12 months with a 75-year lifespan. Company C asks for $8 million, needs 24 months with a 25-year lifespan. Company B actually offers the best value for money. To determine that, we look for 4 crucial factors: economy, efficiency, effectiveness, and equity. Let's explore what each means. For economy, we must look beyond the upfront price and consider the full lifetime costs to maintain the bridge. Cheaper options could lead to frequent and expensive repairs. We get efficiency if the bridge is built within budget and on time, with no waste of materials. To achieve this, we need the best team, and clear criteria helps the government to pick the best proposal. Effectiveness looks at whether the government achieves its goal. This could require a community needs assessment to ensure the bridge will reduce transport costs and travel time, withstand the annual flooding with little disturbance to plant and animal life. Finally, equity. This is about fairness, satisfying the different needs of the community. The bridge design considers not just cars and pedestrians, but is sensitive to the needs of the elderly, the disabled community, and children. So when we're talking about value for money, don't just ask how much it did cost. Ask, what are we truly getting for our money? The cheapest option today can become the most expensive mistake tomorrow. So from now on, let's ask the right questions for Jamaica land we love, Jamaica land we own, and Jamaica land we run well.
Hi everyone, here are 5 benefits of being a beneficiary of the Students' Loan Bureau. 1. Benefit from our 99% approval rate. 2. Benefit from our low interest rate, so less burden when you need to repay. 3. Benefit from the fact that we require no collateral when applying. 4. We're giving you more time to focus on your studies while we focus on the financing. No need to worry about repaying while in school. Number 5. Receive a 14 months grace period after your graduation date before you enter repayment. Don't forget to follow us on all SLB platforms for more SLB info.
When the storm rages and the world feels shaken, remember, our strength lies in unity. It's in coming together, sharing hope, and standing shoulder to shoulder that we find resilience. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement builds a brighter tomorrow. We are stronger as one. Our courage, compassion, and hope will light the way forward. Together we rise. Together we rebuild, because hope is never lost when we stand united, because we are stronger together.
Hey, I'm Abijah, the Roots Man. Today, I want to talk to you about something powerful. Peace. Peace isn't just the absence of conflict. It's about kindness, understanding, and respect. It starts with us. Every choice we make can build bridges or burn them. Let's choose peace in our words, our action, and our hearts. Peace begins with you. Together, we can create a brighter and safer future for everyone. Join me. Let's be that change we want to see.
Peace is a choice we make every day. When we come together with love and understanding, we create a future free of violence and fear. Let's stand united, build bridges, and nurture hope for our children and our communities.
Remember that big project the government announced them? You ever get yourself a wonder what happened to it? Stop wonder like an outsider and start move like the country belong to you. You have a right to publicly owned information, and the Access to Information Act gives you that power. I know you have enough questions about how government are run or not run, so let me show you how it works. Say mosquito spraying going on in your community, your children asthmatic and you want to know what chemicals are in it. Or what about that Auditor General report on a public official getting twice his salary with no proper approval? Is your taxes and you want to know if they paid it back? First, do some basic searching to see what is already on government websites. If you don't see what you're looking for, make a formal ATI request by completing the application form on the ATI site or sending a letter or email. And remember, you don't have to say why you need it. It is your right to know. Make sure you send your request to the right agency, and once they confirm receipt, they get 30 calendar days to provide the information, a maximum of 60 if extra time is needed. Yes, I know you want access to everything, but sensitive documents are protected from the public for up to 20 years. For example, documents that would expose a citizen's personal privacy, or those dealing with cabinet discussions, the Governor General's office, or information on the investigative activities of the security forces. Any public officer who tries to destroy or hide any official document can be sanctioned. And if you're having difficulties, the ATI unit will help. So, what if the chemicals in the mosquito spray are toxic? What if the agency did not even try to get back the money they paid out? Call or email your MP. Share the concern, because as your elected representative, they can represent your questions to the government ministers in the House. Remember, it is the job of parliamentarians to monitor and hold the government to account on your behalf. Is not every country gives citizens this kind of power, you know? And at 20 years we have this law, and we barely use it. So access information and mind your business, Jamaica. Visit jampja.org today to see what information we access to make it easier for you to hold the government to account. Let's do our job to make Jamaica land we love, Jamaica land we own, and Jamaica land we run well. A message from the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, funded by the European Union in partnership with the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica.
Okay, I'm just seeing our research officer. Hi, welcome. Our parliamentary research officer is here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Angelica Patterson, research officer.
Okay, thank you. And as usual, our parliamentary legal counsel is here.
Pleasant morning all. Ashley Zemenes, legislative counsel.
Thank you. And as you're accustomed to, our committee clerk, Mr. Brandon Nash, who is seated beside me. We have one apology from Member Daly. I have no other.
And Member Williams said he may be running late.
And Member Williams indicated he may be running late. He will be running late. So let me welcome everyone to the Constituency Boundaries Committee meeting. There are returning and new members of this committee. This committee performs an important constitutional function in keeping with the continuous review of the number of constituencies which Jamaica is divided in and the boundaries for those constituencies. The work of the committee is therefore central to the integrity of parliamentary representation and to ensuring that the constituency framework remains consistent with the requirements of the Constitution. I have in front of me the section of the Constitution dealing with the delineation of constituencies and moving into the boundaries. And as many members of the committee are aware, from time to time we will be written to, which we have been by the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. That letter we received on the 2nd of April 2026, reminding us of the 2-year limit or period for constituency boundary reviews. And that 2-year period would expire 31st of March 2028. It is expected that we would commence that process of reviewing constituency boundaries to determine whether or not we would like to recommend any amendments or changes, and this would incorporate reviewing boundaries that are above the upper limit, boundaries below the lower limit, which means constituencies that are too large in terms of the number of electors on the list, and some which are way too small, not meeting the requirement for the minimum threshold of voters on their voting list. The ECJ is asking for the instruction of our committee to commence the conduct of the current boundaries review for the period 1st April 2026 to 31st March 2028. Have we circulated the letter? So members, first we would have to formally acknowledge having received and read the letter from the Electoral Commission of Jamaica so that it is documented for the records, and we will formally advise them that we are in receipt. Members, for the record, let me just do a quick read. Periodic review of constituency boundaries. I hereby tender a reminder to the Constituency Boundaries Committee of the Parliament that the period for the review of constituency boundaries is currently in effect pursuant to Section 67, subsection 3A and B of the Constitution of Jamaica. Current review period commenced on April 1st, 2026 and continues until March 31st, 2028. The Electoral Commission of Jamaica acts on the instruction of the Boundaries Committee of Parliament in order to address any concerns in relation to electoral boundaries. These may include breaches in the upper and lower limit of constituencies or anomalies identified to be amended. The ECJ is hereby seeking the Constituency Boundaries Committee of Parliament's instruction to commence the conduct of the current boundaries review period. Would the members here please indicate by a show of hand your desire to have the ECJ commence this process?
We have no choice. It is due. The issue that we have to look at this stage, whether or not we're going to increase the constituency count in this country based on the requirement of
For some reason, we're not hearing you at all.
You hear me now?
Yes, better.
What I'm saying, the issue is whether or not we're going to have the constituency numbers increase, where the provision for 65 constituencies, we now have 63. Is there a need for the other 2 constituencies are one? Or the other alternative, whether we are going to realign the existing boundaries. And personally, I don't believe there's any need or necessity to have the other two constituencies at this stage. I think we should look at what the different constituencies and make a determination. So I think recommendation is for as they ask, to realign boundaries where it's necessary. Because if you look at Westmoreland, you have Western Westmoreland with the upper limit is 49 plus. The lower limit is 22,120. We have one constituent that is below the lower limit, and as usual, that is Northeast St. Andrew, while the one beside is 29. The other two are 23. Westmoreland, Western Westmoreland is 40. Central Westmoreland, no, Western Westmoreland is 40. Central Westmoreland is 48. Southeast Westmoreland, Eastern Westmoreland is 31. St. Catherine, you have Southwest 44,276. South St. Catherine 44,290. Northeast St. Anne 45,000 plus. Southeast Clarendon 46,000 plus. And then you look at Western Southwest Clarendon is 30,000. Central Clarendon is 33,000. Look at West Central St. Catherine, that is 31. That's 31,000. South Central St. Catherine, another 31,000. So yeah, so you need to look at these and then maybe advise the Electoral Commission. They could move ahead with balancing the constituents that we do have. Because it's unfair for one person to have 46, 48, and the others beside them pretty low. All 15, 18,000 below the high one. So I think the recommendation for them to look at these boundaries, at these parishes out there, and realign the boundaries. And at the same time, they look at where it's necessary, maybe to create new parish council boundaries, because there are some boundaries, some parish council divisions that are very large in numbers, while some geographically are huge. So it might be best to split these to make them better served by the councillors and the MPs. Truck is 65,000 below.
Member Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am struck by my colleagues' grasp of the constituency counts to the number. I want to believe that he recited them last night before he came here.
So go follow Paul away, because no quotas to come. So Mr. go aware of it. No, that's last night, no alone.
That much I can say I admire that particular trait. Madam Chair, as we are aware, and I think it's a practice of this committee, we as a committee represent the broader Parliament, and the Parliament takes guidance from us, who would have delved in the issues in a much deeper and broader way. However, since 1979, 1980, what we have done, we collectively, is to remit those issues, I dare to say exclusively, to the ECJ, where the Parliament has representation equally, and for the reasons why that came about. I note the comments by my colleague from Southwest St. Catherine, and they are reasonable concerns. But ironically, or is it deliberately, I don't know, the said member sits in that place also, where such a deliberation would take place. And I trust that he would convey those reasonable observations in that place with his colleagues, and then we as a committee we subsequently advise. Speaking for myself, who do have access to a colleague of equal standing with the colleague from Southwest St. Catherine, will convey my own observation. I might say candidly, even while you spoke, we were exchanging thoughts on it. That is some things that should be dealt with there, delved in a more detailed way. And the rationale, of course, in that the committee wouldn't accept things in a very blind way. But the rationale behind that deeper analysis and assessment of the ECJ be brought back to us as committee member, and then we can deliberate on it. But I wouldn't want to venture in those issues from this place. I would rather have it be dealt with at that place where we both sit equally and have the opportunity and the expertise for the research and the data, notwithstanding how much he's able to retain himself, to look at the matter. But just lastly, as you said at the opening, Madam Chair, we don't have a choice, as my colleagues say, as a committee. It's a constitutional requirement, and I think the letter from the ECJ is just a courtesy reminder of our constitutional role in this regard.
The issue is, I'm not saying we are going to do it here, is that the centros, they cannot act without the directive.
We have to give instructions.
Directive or instruction from Parliament.
This committee, yes.
Okay?
Absolutely.
We're not telling what to do, but we have to tell them to proceed. But the issue is, if to increase the number of constituencies, that's not up to them. We have to make a recommendation.
If we would like to have 65 constituencies, which is the
we have
current
to make that recommendation.
Limit,
they wouldn't take
allowable
that
limit, we would have to be the ones. I don't think we would go to
but,
64.
But we would have to advise them whether or not we wish to increase the count
I heard Member
from
Wilmington
63.
suggest possibly 64 or 65, but I doubt we'd ever go back to 64 because of the possibility of having a tie. Right, so the odd number
I believe we should not recommend to them the creation of
we have two options in
terms
of how we are going
and they can, as it's a realignment of boundaries as they asked to do, so we can give the directive, they can go with the realignment of boundaries where necessary. And the same time, as I mentioned, they could look also where you have parish council bound divisions that are huge. I'm thinking of one in St. Catherine right now. That is almost the size of a constituency. They could make it easier for the councillor or councillors, and that maybe can be create new, where necessary, create new divisions at the same time.
All right, so members, as is required by us, we would need to acknowledge receipt of the letter and what is our proposal in terms of the way forward, what is the committee comfortable with. Please listen to these two alternative proposals as drafted to see which of the two you prefer. The committee formally acknowledges the correspondence from the ECJ, dated and the date, and requests that the ECJ commence the preliminary technical work necessary for the current review of constituency boundaries. This would be including identification of any breach of the applicable constituency limits and any boundary anomalies requiring consideration by the committee. That is proposal 1. The other alternative is to again acknowledge receipt of the letter and invite the ECJ to attend the next meeting of the committee to provide an initial briefing on the current review period, which we already know, including the scope of work required, the applicable constitutional parameters, which we know, and any preliminary issues that they've identified. Members?
You said those are the proposed recommendations, but no, but we didn't decide on that. We didn't decide on that.
No, we haven't decided. Those are the suggestions.
No.
Those are the suggestions.
Yes, but
Member
we normally
Wilmington.
come here and we take that decision by ourselves.
That's what you're doing.
No. We are not told that the one or the other. You're allowed to discuss it first. And then together we decide.
I heard a long discussion a while ago, so I'm asking you, how
what
do
I'm
you
saying,
want to...
No.
So, Member Warmington, hold on a minute.
I'm coming to you. Let me just finish. I don't think the chair can come and say these are the suggestions and recommendations. You'll also talk about it. Not I'm against what you have there. But we should talk about it first, and you ask us input, and then if after you get the input, you could quietly read that as if it's you just write it down since we start talk. No, but I would say the second one is out our remit. As such, we don't normally call them to come here to give us that type of briefing. That's their job. The first one is okay, but I'll ask also first to include where parish council boundaries are concerned.
There are some initial technical areas that I believe should be in our mindset, in our discourse, or, instructions from the committee to the ECJ. So it's standard that we would ask them if they see any anomalies, if they see any boundary limits. We have discussed that. It would be good that they tell us at least what sort of data sources they have been reviewing, just so we don't tell us. And nothing in terms of the methodology of the review, do they tell us either? Okay. Oh, sorry, hold on. Turn on your mic.
No, we don't normally get into technical stuff with them. They do all of that.
Do they normally give us any indication of the timeline for them in terms of their technical work?
We have 2 years. We have 2 years. Hold on. We have 2 years. We have 2 years to conclude. We have the last 2 months. So we just give them the instruction there, and I say include where there's necessary need for parish to address particular parish council divisions. And they go along. They don't normally share the technical stuff with. They come back to us maybe in the middle of the review and say, this is what we found. And they send a report to us, and at the end they send a report.
What about the Portmore boundaries?
No, that will be including what we're doing here. Yeah, because the issue, what was said is that I haven't seen a letter from Parliament to the Electoral Commission. What was supposed to be done in Portmore. But they spoke about constituting the boundaries. They said, no, you can't do that without the instruction of Parliament. So, constituting the boundaries now would include what they have to do across there.
Okay. All right, so members, continue to deliberate for the next 2 minutes because I think we finished deliberate. I heard the discussions and we had several proposed ways of drafting. So you can come up with the mechanism by which. So one, in the drafting, no matter what, we'll have to accept that we have been advised that is standard, and then it is only to determine if what is our desire. And I'm hearing that from the discussions of the members who have answered so far, that you would really want to tell them to proceed. And it depends on how you want to draft the letter indicating how you proceed. Yeah, you just want a long discussion first. All right. Hold on. No. So Mike is on for Member Campbell. Member Warmington. Next.
Madam Chair, thank you. I actually don't find any difficulty with what has been done in proposing 2 different possible responses. And I believe that the proposed responses that you've put forward are open to amendments, should we want to do so. So I don't find any difficulties with it at all. I am more leaning, Madam Chair, to your second proposal, because I think it would actually be appropriate for them to say what their thinking is, what anomalies they're seeing, and what's the proposed approach that they want to take. I don't see what harm would come from doing that, as opposed to have them go down the wicket and then we're finding out at a later stage. I think if that is said at the beginning, then we can all be on the same page. So I wouldn't have a difficulty with that, and to be frank, I would prefer if we were to invite them and for them to put that on the record at the outset.
I hear Member Campbell. Member Campbell's recommendation is that we invite them to just update us on the process and how it's going to work. Member Warmington's view was they are very standard in terms of how they are going to function, and in the interest of time and the fact that we don't have any jurisdiction over how they execute their technical function, that we should allow them to start and then we call them in to give us an update. Member Jackson.
I'm very much accepting the updating exercise, as the word says, updating, and any concerns, any observation, any thoughts, we can share it with them. As member says, it's not really an instruction we're giving them, is to apprise ourselves of where we are. And that can be useful.
From hearing from Member Jackson and listening to everybody, I am suggesting that we ask the ECJ to identify the anomalies before they come to the next meeting.
If there are any.
If there are any. You know, like start the process. Start the process instead of just coming to the next meeting to tell us what we know already. You know, come with something to update us on what are the anomalies, if they see any, what are the limit breaches. Are we good? So the recommendation is, what anomalies have you identified? What are the limit breaches that you have identified? So they come to us with something instead of nothing at all. What is their projected timeline generally for their technical work on average based on their experience? So we sort of have an appreciation up front. If it takes them a year, if it will take them 6 months, if we may run out of time because it's going to take them 2 years. Those, to me, would be some of them. We can't talk about me, yeah. And if there are any other issues that they believe that we should be made appraised of. And I suspect that's it, unless you have any other suggestions.
Do not forget that I mentioned the issue of parish council boundaries that are too large, if it's necessary. You have to put that in because they're not going to do it without instruction from us. Yeah, they're not going to maybe create next to it. They're not going to address that one unless you tell them. That parish council.
Okay, so for the benefit of the team, Member Warmington is also recommending that we add the requirement to have the ECJ look at some of the parish council boundaries as well, because some of them are too large. All right, and so they would come to us with that. The first time they come to our meeting, they would be in a position to report on these matters, and then we continue. If it's too large or I need to create new. So let's work on drafting. Let's go to Member Campbell and let's work on drafting what we would require of them afterwards with the details of some of the subsections that we would want to ensure that they take a look at. Member Campbell?
Yes, I don't think what I have to say will necessarily affect your draft. It's more to support the point that I think there is a need for a review of division and constituency boundaries to bring them closer in alignment with the number of persons based on the fact that we receive similar allocations. So it would seem illogical to me that a constituency with 48,000 would be getting the same allocation as one with 21,000. They would benefit from the exact same CDF allocation, the same whatever allocation that comes to members of parliament. And it would seem that we would need to bring them closer Huh?
They could fix it by increasing.
No, you could fix it elsewhere. You could fix it elsewhere, right? So we probably should bring it up elsewhere then as a recommendation from here. But just to serve the citizens properly, I don't see how an allocation of $20 million would be able to serve 21,000 and 48,000 similarly. The geography is even worse because you have some constituencies that a member can walk through in a day, and it would take me a week to walk one division. So it is a reality that I think we should examine.
So members, normally what the ECJ would have is upper and lower limits only. And those upper and lower limits are usually already those very far differential of 20 to 40. That's what the upper and lower limit does. So we will put upper and lower limit, which is normal, and we will want to add for them, we would like them to look at making constituencies a little bit more uniform in size, in terms of balancing that size. So though they have the upper and lower limit, we'd want to do a subsection to say we would like them to look at a more balanced approach of uniform, closer uniformity in the size of constituencies.
The upper and lower limit is something that's set by them. It's something that is set. So we don't have to recommend. Yeah, it's a mathematical calculation that changes each cycle. So we don't need to mention that, because every cycle that is done, okay? Because the last time, I think Northeast St. Andrew was 35 or 25, the next one 65.
No, so hold on.
So we
still have to mention it. Let me tell you why.
We don't mention
we
upper
have to
lower
mention
limit.
it in the event that there are constituencies that are either above the upper limit or constituencies, which I do believe we have two that are below the lower limit. We would want for them to identify. So who still remains below? Minister Chuck or Marissa?
But what we said already is that they look at the constituency and balance them. We don't have to talk about up and low. They know what they're doing because it's mathematical calculation. So to balance the constituency, make them more even where possible.
Members, just for an abundance of caution, just to make sure it's clear. So inviting the ECJ to our next meeting does not mean that it is next week or next month. Our next meeting would be after they have put together this update for us. Do we want to set a time period for that? No. Right, so, yes. So we would want to include in here to advise us as soon as they have gotten to that place of being able to determine or their ability to updating us on this. So our next meeting would be contingent on the ECJ's update and advice on their readiness to discuss the items that we have listed. And let me make sure that I have it clear. Portmore is already so included, so we don't need to single it out. No, that is the point. So we don't have to specify anything because when you're doing a full-scale review, that would have been incorporated anyway. So we don't have to mention Portmore in and of itself. Question to legal counsel. In the past, would we have had any sort of timetable for the committee's work? I actually know the answer, but I'm still asking the question for the benefit of the committee. So I'm asking the question in terms of the work by the committee over the 2-year period, if there is a timetable that is worked on with our legal counsel here, our committee clerk, and the ECJ in the background, making sure that at the end of the 2-year period, the committee has executed and concluded its work. Legal counsel?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Based on the research conducted, I'm not seeing where that was a standing position of the committee. However, given the timeline that has been exposed and also the indication by Member Warmington that we're already 2 months in, perhaps it may be a decision that the committee may opt to review at the next meeting when the ECJ provides their proposal. It is for the committee's determination on how to proceed.
And Member Warmington, when you respond, you have some experience with the ECJ. Do you believe they would be mindful to give us some sort of timetable so we would be able to track
let me deal with the first question up.
The process?
Normally, we meet as a committee, we send the directive to them. We don't normally meet during the period. At the end, they send a draft to us.
But what is the end, Member Warmington?
We
Your
have 2
experience?
years.
So they send a draft to us before the end of 2 years or at the end of 2 years?
No, before the end of 2 years. They send you a draft to review.
And how long before the 2 years you usually get a draft to review?
How long what?
How long before the end of the 2-year period would you have observed in the past normally that draft report comes, giving us a month, 2 months?
Sometime like the end of a year. Sometime maybe 18 months. You get enough time to review, to look at it, and then whatever concern you have to express that with them for them to do the final report so that they can get to us and then present to Parliament for approval. So all this is done. Maybe by 18 months they give you this stuff so you have enough time to deal with in Parliament for the approval, that it's approved before 2 years. Realize is that the last one was done in 2011. The next one was due in 2015. It's the minimum of 4 years, maximum 6. But we hadn't looked at anything since then. What? It started on time. And we had concluded. long within the time. Long within the time. So I think within a year, we're able to come back here and approve the changes in 2011.
So I got the answer approximately a year. That was my question. Thank you. Thank you very much. Because you see, when you say at the next meeting doesn't feel like it's about 1 year time, which is really what it is going to be. You know? So let's just take a look at the draft. Is there any other business? Is there any other thing that we would like to incorporate in responding to the ECJ? No, they have to share the draft with you. Well, I'm going to read potentially. So the draft response would have been done and circulated. However, we're ensuring that we incorporate the views of the members of the committee as expressed earlier. So we will have the draft circulated by this afternoon. It would be there for the benefit of the other members of the committee who are not currently here this morning. And once we have received the go-ahead or any amendments, we would make the necessary amendments as agreed, after which we would send that off to the ECJ.
You mentioned the other members. Only one of the members can add or subtract from this report. You get one apology, and they're from member Denise Daly. No other member no other member can have any input. They did not attend the meeting. We never apology. Only
Denise Daly. 2 apologies. One person.
No, he said he late. He was saying going to be absent, and we're concluding. No, he was not here. Only Denise Daly can add or subtract to it. No other member.
Wouldn't you? I know you would admire it. I'm saying it on mic. I will take it that we will still circulate to all the members. However, we would only take suggestion for amendments from the member who indicated apologies. Unfortunately, I suspect we are not going to be able to get amendments from any member who is not here because they would not be very off here with the discussion. And so I think the persons who should be most minded to read and verify that we're happy with the draft are the members seated here this morning, because you would be very, very appraised of the discussion. So members, the draft will be circulated today, and I'm asking that we respond via email confirming whether or not we're comfortable with the draft, and if we have any recommended amendment, to do so, and then we will just do a final based on our various amendments if we have any, and we'll send it out for final confirmation and off to the ECJ. Yes, Member Warmington?
See if you can get it to ECJ by this committee, because the next meeting will be on the 1st.
By tomorrow?
Right.
So that's why I wanted us to sign off this afternoon.
The next meeting on the 1st of July.
Beautiful.
Nice
we are committed to doing so, Member Warmington. So that's why I would want us to read and sign off this afternoon the draft letter. Oh. Yes, Member Jackson. That will be most possible based on Member Warmington's insistence. Oh boy. So we should be fine. And if possible, we'll try to just wrap that up during the sitting this afternoon. We can actually just round robin the 4 of us. Pardon me? Oh, that's what I'm saying. We'll just round robin, among ourselves and tidy it up, and we will have it ready for tomorrow. So members, if there are no other business, I would like us to call this meeting to a close, and the next meeting date we would determine via round robin, just the same, based on the response from the ECJ whenever they next come to us.
I so move for the adjournment.
So moved by Member Warmington, so seconded by Member Jackson.
Motorists, certificates of fitness are now digital. Here's how it works. First, make your payment at TAJ inline or online. Then, take your receipt along with your vehicle to an Island Traffic Authority service hub for physical inspection. A valid email address is required to receive your digital fitness. Once the inspection is complete, your certificate number will be sent directly to your email. To access your digital certificate, visit cgds.gov.jm/fitness, enter your certificate number and the chassis number, and view your certificate online. New validity periods are here. New vehicles, 5 years. Vehicles 10 years or less, 3 years. And those older than 10, 1 year. No more paper certificates, just secure digital access anytime, anywhere. For more information, connect with us via email at info@ita.gov.jm or on social media at Island Traffic Authority.
Yo, babes, why me I call you so much time and I not get you? Sorry me lick you again yesterday. Yo, me know me mess up, but I can't wear them something there road and I expect me to react. I know me jealous and fool and easy to lose my temper, but call me back here.
Still not get tired.
Hey, girl, think me have to call your phone? You know who you are deal with? You think I want to lick me again next time? Eh?
It doesn't have to be this way. You can leave an abusive relationship. Just call 876-553-0372. We will help you.
An African bull elephant, powerful, alert. He's aware of danger. Man's around. It's a threat that can't be ignored. There can be few sights more appealing than a baby elephant. Our reaction is at once emotional and affectionate, as it would be towards a child of our own. But we can afford to be detached. Elephants won't encroach on our lives. For Africans, it's different. They're competing with elephants for space and food across a hungry continent. This youngster is heading for an uncertain future. This one too. It was hard enough for his family even before the grain store was raided by a marauding elephant. Some maize was salvaged, but there are lean months ahead. People respond to the elephants in kind. Our search for food is ripping up their rangeland. It's an unequal struggle, and one that the elephant is bound to lose. The first challenge is to come to terms with this distressing fact. Hours after it was born, this calf is wobbly and unsteady, as vulnerable as a newborn child. Perhaps we feel affinity towards elephants because we have much in common. Like us, they delight in new life. The mother lavishes care on her calf. During the first year, it feeds exclusively on her milk. As it grows up, brothers, sisters, and cousins provide companionship and play. These are formative years for the young elephant. They create lasting bonds. The same, of course, is true of our children. The family's constantly on the move, seeking new food, exploring waterholes. At an early age, the youngster discovers the joy of wallowing in cool mud. The family groups are matriarchal. They rarely exceed 12, although they can come together to form a herd of hundreds. This male left the herd just after